I'm Garry Turner. I look after 20 million euros worth of business for a horrible chemical employer. Think of Breaking Bad, but we don't dip people in hydrochloric acid. And I also am very passionate about the human-centered journey for organizations. I think we've gone far too far on the myopic focus on making money in spite of people. And I believe it's time that we start to design our organizations through our people, and this needs to start now. The world's going to keep on spinning. Everyone's talking about automation, pace of change, new technological advancements. That's all normal. But the best thing we can do is actually slow down, get together in the room and co-create the versions of the future. And we in HR have got the best opportunity to do that. And this is a key part. We've got to get away from the myopic focus on just the metrics. We need to be looking at vulnerability, curiosity, what it means to be human, and have the human conversations that are so often missing in the workplace. Is that better, Katrina? So the robots are coming, the robots are coming. We see it in every single article in Forbes and everything. The irony is we're already acting like robots most of the time. So let's stop doing that and actually create the job roles that will allow us all to flourish. And I believe there's an alternative. And I thank Becky Gulliver, a friend of mine. There's a human-centered version of VUCA. Let's look at the vulnerability, the unique gifts that we all have in our organizations. How can we connect more effectively across organizations? And let's be action-orientated. This is a real-life case study for my organization. This is not just nice to have. We increased sales by 6 million and gross margin by 1.5 million over 3 years by intentionally shifting our culture from one that was based on fear, reactivity, whose fault is it, to something that's based on growth and collaboration. How do we do that? Growth mindset. Everyone talks about Carol Dweck's work, but being intentional in your teams around what that means, having a conversation about it, it is transformational to genuinely step into a growth mindset at work. But I think for us in this room, we need to disrupt ourselves. Whitney Johnson has got a fantastic podcast. How often do you in the room look at your own role and go, how can I disrupt myself? Not the business, not your team, you. Because every 3 to 4 years, we get stagnant. And in order to be able to do that, we need to make it safe. We need to make it safe for people to show up, to challenge the status quo, to make the suggestions that quite often people are afraid to make in the workplace. And we need to be curious. Just imagine what it would be like for any of you that have got children. When you look in their eyes, you can see that curiosity, that unfettered desire to be curious and to innovate and to take in the world around them. We've lost that as adults. And I think HR has got a wonderful opportunity to be able to unleash that creativity in our people. And what about experimentation? How many of you experiment at work? How many of you actually go out and run an experiment in reward or something to do with learning and development without asking permission from the line management? Something worth thinking about if you don't already. And my friend, Barack, so one of the key things here, is we listen, fascinating statistic, we listen at 700 to 900 words a minute, but only speak at 125 words a minute. That's why a lot of what I'm saying is bullshit. Talking about vulnerability, I genuinely believe this is the superpower of our time. The ability, as Garry Ridge, CEO of WD-40, once said to me, I don't know are the 3 most powerful words any of us in this room can know, can learn and role model. Why does it matter? 34.9 billion pounds and 15.8 million working days were lost in 2017 alone due to a mix of stress, anxiety, and depression. And I'm one of those stats because I burnt myself out 3 years ago. So I'm one of those statistics. Key point here. Are we going to keep waiting for permission in this room to make the changes that we can see? Because we're doing the job. You in HR know how best to run your organizations. So we're going to keep waiting for permission, or we're going to run some experiments and disrupt our organizations from the inside out. Let's get away from the bullshit. I know it sounds like a lot of bullshit, but let's get away from the bullshit. Let's actually connect on a human level about what's working, what isn't working, and how can we co-create together alternative versions of the future. Because you've got all the answers in you, in this room. Is anybody up for the fight to turn our organizations into more human-centered from fear-based? Raise your hand, please, please. That is almost a full house. Fantastic. Thank you for joining me on this mission. And I think, just so we look to wrap up, I'm big on inclusion. As the white male standing in front of you, we need to do better at this. Design our organizations around our people with inclusion in mind at the outset, and our organizations will produce even better results, as I've shown with my own work organization. So that's me wrapping up. If you need any help with this, I've created a product called Our Safe House, which is to help move teams, leaders, and individuals from the fear-based, outdated ways of working to more heart, love-based, human ways of leading. So thank you all for your time.
Appreciate it.